It's a very rainy day outside today. I think it's as good a time as any to give you a quick update as to how things are going on this renovation. One of the reasons that we're filming all of this is to give you a bit of an insight as to what's involved in a very typical renovation project in the UK, so you can get to understand how older UK houses are built, some of the problems that you're likely to run into. You need to be prepared for a lot of challenging times and difficult situations that you're going to have to probably problem solve yourself unless you're paying a builder to do the whole lot. But a renovation like this would be prohibitively expensive to get a builder to do everything. We do have builders involved obviously, but yeah, there's a huge amount of the work that I'm going to be doing myself. But one question that comes up all the time is when you tackle a big renovation project, where do you start? Like, do you plan it all first and then just work on each job one at a time, or do you just get stuck in there? And my approach, generally speaking, is to just get stuck in there. No matter how good a survey you get, you are going to uncover problems that no survey in the world would ever pick up on anyway. And generally speaking, you just need to problem solve all of that. But let me take you through everything that we've done so far, some of the plans that we've got moving forwards, and some of the problems that we've run into, including finding a small pond in the back corner of our garage. First exciting thing, I've replaced the light in the kitchen so we can actually see the kitchen now. You've probably never really been able to see the kitchen before. We'll talk about that funny kind of pool of water in the corner of the garage later on. That's a story in itself. But all of this needs to come out. This is relatively high priority to get the kitchen out because that end wall is going to be coming out when the building work starts. This doorway here needs to be blocked up because that's where the boiler is going to be going. All sorts of things going on. I'm going to talk about the electrics in a separate video because I finally kind of sussed out everything that's going on in this electric cupboard, so I can tell you the little red light's going berserk on that because I've got like a million fan heaters on at the minute. But yeah, I've worked out what everything's doing in here and I'll give you a guided tour of that in a separate video. So don't forget to hit subscribe. If you remember that lead pipe under the floor that I said was the water supply coming in, and a couple of people in the comments said no, it's the electric supply coming in. It turned out it was absolutely nothing. It wasn't even connected. Here it is here. I'm assuming that it was probably, I'm not sure, maybe it had electric cables running through it at one point, or I honestly don't know. It was running along here under the floor and over to this fireplace, and it would have come up through, I don't know if you can see, the lighting's not great in here, but there was a hole there and a loose board, so it would have come up at the bottom there. I'm not sure. Obviously it's probably something connected with this fire, but don't know. Ideas in the comments as to why there was a lead pipe going all the way from that corner over to there. But anyway, it was nothing. Loads of redundant cable under here that I've already taken out. Basically what's happened is it's been rewired, but they left all the old cabling in, so I've taken all the old cabling out. I'll talk about the electrics in a separate video. We've got a spot of damp in this wall. I'm going to talk about that in a separate video as well because that's a topic in its own right. I've got the fireplace ripped out, not completely 100% ripped out, but the vast majority of it is now gone. Obviously this is going to become a wood burning stove at some point. Again, I'll cover all of this in a separate video, so watch this space. But yeah, getting the back boiler out of there, that was a bit of a challenge. There's a surprise in that video for you as well. If we look at this, I think this is the original brickwork here, but I think this has been added when they've put the fireplace in. I'm not entirely sure. Hopefully someone who's an expert with fireplaces can let me know. You can see the lintel going across there, great big concrete lintel. So nothing's technically holding up these bricks, but they're not budging of their own accord, put it that way. But yeah, there's nothing technically holding them up. But we do need to make a little bit more room in here to get the wood burning stove in, and then it'll all be kind of boxed in and it'll look lovely with a nice hearth and everything. The old ash box is still there. I've yet to find out where that vents to, but I suspect there's some sort of vent pipe that probably goes across there somewhere. Couldn't actually find it, but yeah, whatever. Old Baxi fire set though, with a back boiler, so yeah, had to go a journey. Mrs. Mac has done a wonderful job on all of the wallpaper stripping with some help from the kids as well, and they did a great job. You can see that there's been a picture rail in here at some point. The wall isn't particularly flat, so it's probably going to need replastered. I still need to take the skirtings and architraves off. I'll take all of those off before the room gets replastered. I haven't taken the storage heater out yet because I do still need some heat in this property, but all of the storage heaters will be coming out. I don't think they've got any residual value. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Other than for scrap, I don't think there's any market for second-hand storage heaters. There's a couple of people were asking what a storage heater is. It's basically an electric element with bricks on either side, and the storage heater heats up at night time on off-peak electricity. It heats the bricks up, and then the bricks stay warm all day throughout the next day and give off a bit of heat. They're not particularly great. They'll all be going a journey. Dining room, haven't really touched this yet, so not a lot to report. This is probably going to become a temporary kitchen. So once I get the kitchen out of the current kitchen, I do need somewhere that I can temporarily have some sort of water supply, so I'll probably run a temporary supply into here and just move bits of the kitchen into here. Eventually that kitchen will go into the utility in the extension, but only once that's built. I still need to take out this storage heater. This is the old storage heater from in the hallway. But yeah, this storage heater needs to come out, and I need to see what's going on behind this fireplace. I really want to keep this fire surround because it's really nice. But yeah, haven't quite decided what we're doing with this fireplace yet. By the way, I'm going to be insulating underneath all of the floors. We're going to try and make this house as thermally efficient as we possibly can. So yeah, again, watch this space. Solid insulation going under all of the floorboards, and I'll tidy up everything under the floors while I'm at it. Then upstairs and into what is kind of the front bedroom on the property. And you can see what I've done is I've taken the ceiling down in that area where we were getting a little bit of condensation, because I wanted to see what was going on behind there. And also we're just going to insulate this, and that should resolve the condensation issues. This is just a cold section of roof. Moisture in the air would just naturally condense on that cold surface. So once we get that insulated, it should be fine. You can actually see the spray foam insulation from the loft coming down. I'll have to cut that down a little bit because we do need some airflow. What we'll do is we'll leave a little bit of a gap just so we can get some airflow up into the loft. Then the Kingspan or whatever I'm going to be using, haven't quite decided yet, will go on. And then I might even do insulated plasterboard over the top. That might be a bit belt and braces, but yeah, it should be a million times better than it was. I've checked all of these timbers for damp. They're all absolutely bone dry. Everything's absolutely solid here. Nothing's wet, not in the slightest bit damp. The only bit that is slightly damp is this corner up here, and this is the valley that runs on the outside. There's like lead flashing that runs all the way down this valley, and I haven't quite worked out what's causing this dampness yet, but it is very damp in that corner. But that is very close to the soil vent pipe that's coming up through the roof, and that's going to be coming out anyway. So I think once we take the vent stack out and sort the roof out, hopefully that dampness will go away. So I'm not going to seal this roof up until I'm confident that we've managed to get rid of the source of that dampness. If you do find dampness like this, always find the root cause of the problem, fix that first, and then I generally would suggest leaving this open until it just dries out naturally. So I'm not going to be sealing this up and insulating it anytime soon. It does, however, mean that it's very cold in this room. Through into the back bedroom, I'll be doing exactly the same in here. I'll be taking all of this diagonal section down here and insulating behind there as well in the same sort of way. Interesting further bit of information about this crack. Having a chat with the neighbours, and apparently this is a known problem in all of the properties. It seems to be some sort of design fault, and it seems to be connected with them putting the big heavy water tank in the wall behind here. So basically, you can't see, it's too dark, but the crack's up there, and we've got this giant hot water tank here, and we just think that it's putting too much load on unsupported joists underneath, and that's probably what's caused the cracking. Not 100% about that. Either way, all of this is coming out. That's another job for another day. I do have everything drained down and ready to take out. I still need to decommission all the electrics, but that's, again, another job for another day. We've done a load of work in the back garden, clearing stuff and trying to make room for the office building that's going to be going over there, and making some room for a shed down the bottom of the garden. It's very rainy, so I'm not entirely sure if we're going to head out there today, but yeah, you'll see all that in a future video. Let me show you at the front of the property though, because some more interesting stuff has been happening there. Yeah, it's absolutely chucking it down. I'm not going outside, but new gas supply is in. I'll show you some pictures of it from when it was a little bit drier. But that got mould in from over there and under the garden to a new gas supply over by the front of the property over there. Also done all of the survey work for where electrics run. We've got the electric board coming out to check the electrics, and hopefully, I don't know, we might end up getting a new electric supply put in. But the next big job that needs to happen is to get a new water supply coming in. That's going to come kind of alongside this electric line, a little bit further to the right of it, and obviously much deeper. And the plan was for it to come under here and then pop up kind of behind these drain pipes in the garage. So that's where we come into this cupboard under the stairs thing, the spider cupboard, because it was absolutely filled with spider webs. So I've dug a hole down here, and I need to work out what's going on here, because yeah, it's a little bit of a mystery. The thing is, whenever I scoop water out of that, it just fills up again. But it's not coming anything past that level, which is the unusual thing. If it was like a burst water main or something, that hole would just fill up with water and it wouldn't stop. And you would see it flowing in as well, but you can see nothing's flowing in at the moment. But if I scoop all of the water out of that... Oh, God. Got most of the water out, but it's raining so heavily outside that it's filling up as quickly as I can scoop the water out. And as I say, it fills up, and then it just gets to a level and stops. So I think this is a drain problem rather than any kind of water main burst or anything like that. If it was a water main, there would be crazy amounts of water coming into this. You can actually see, water flowing in at that back corner there at the moment. So just kind of over there, you can see water flowing in. But as I say, it just kind of gets to a level and then stops. This is where I'm hoping that our new water supply can come in, you see. Not entirely sure what this old cast iron pipe here is. I don't think that's the current water supply. I could be wrong. It's not really deep enough for it to be the current water supply, but not sure. Jury's out on that one. But my theory on this water down here is that it's coming from this drain, and this drain only services these two downpipes. It's just rainwater that goes into here, and yeah, it's probably because it's raining so much that we're seeing so much water going into that. But if I stick something down into this is an old clay kind of trap here. I'm trying not to get my camera wet, but if I stick a screwdriver down this, I can feel that the bottom of this feels like it's cracked. It definitely feels like the bottom of that clay trap is cracked. So in order to prove whether or not this is the cause of the problem, because I hope it is, because this all needs to come out anyway, but if this is the cause of the problem, then water from here should end up in that hole in the garage. How are we going to prove that? Well, let's pop some soapy water down here, and we'll see if we'll get soapy water in the garage as well. I'm going to have to scoop water out of this again, but to try and let some new water get in. Oh, this is tricky while holding the camera. Yeah, 100%. We've definitely got soapy water in there. So it's coming from that drain. It's just a rainwater downpipe, as I say. I can probably get rid of it altogether and temporarily run the water somewhere else until we've sorted that drain out. So there's another job I need to do. But at least it's not like a burst water main or something. Obviously, if you are ever trenching a new water supply in, you must check for electricity cables and gas pipes and stuff like that. I know exactly where the gas pipe runs because we've just had it put in. I don't know where the electricity runs, or I didn't. So I've managed to get the safe dig plan from the electric board, and we've done a CAT scan of the ground as well to work out where the electric supply comes in. And even after you've done that, you still need to do a trial pit at either end, double check that's definitely exactly where the electric cable runs before you go ploughing in there with spades and diggers and all sorts like that. Now, the remaining risk that I've got here, if you're ever trenching in a new water supply, I think I know where the electric runs in, but we still could hit the existing water main, the old lead supply. So I'm just going to fill up a couple of containers with water, because if we do hit the old lead supply, I'm going to basically have to hammer it flat to stop water coming out, and that'll mean we'll not have any water supply to the property until we get the new water main hooked up. So I'm just going to fill these containers up, and that will keep us going in the meantime. You can never have enough blue roll and cloths on a project like this, by the way. The alcoves in the living room and in the kids' bedrooms, I'm going to be framing out and putting some sound block plasterboard into the alcoves on that side and on this side as well. So this old kind of alcove unit thing needs to come out, unfortunately, but I might keep the doors. The doors are quite nice. But yeah, all of that will come out and it'll all be reboarded and it'll all look absolutely lovely. Other exciting news is that we're just about ready for our first skip as well. We've got a lot of stuff for the skip, all kind of piled up in various locations around the house. A lot of stuff in the garden as well. I'll be shredding a lot of the wood, but all this green stuff we'll just put at the bottom of the skip, and then all the heavy stuff will just flatten it. Strange bit of kind of damp that was spotted around, it's near the front door. Funnily enough, above that is the toilet, and I'm wondering if there's been maybe a leak from the toilet at some point. It's dry now, and that seems like old black mould, so I don't know. I think that's a previous leak. I don't think there's any current problems causing that, and we're going to be taking out the front toilet anyway. Thanks everyone who commented on the plans as well, the plans video. Was that the last video? I can't remember. Anyway. But yeah, it was always going to be a bit of a problem, this dead space in the kitchen, and what we've decided, in fact, the whole process of me and Mrs. Mac chatting about the plans and doing it all on SketchUp and working out what we're going to be doing for our 6th revision of the plans of what we're going to be doing with this property, that is on the member zone. So if you want to go onto there, we will fill you in on it later on, but if you want a sneak peek of what the revised plans are going to be, they're on the member zone for members to see. But yeah, basically the revised plans, this is going to become a corridor down here. This will be a kind of plant room to the left with the boiler at the back, electric meter and consumer unit and everything in here. And then to the right of here, we're going to put the downstairs loo kind of here-ish instead. Then the fridge will almost perfectly go in the gap where that window is. It won't really work perfectly, so there will have to be an RSJ going across there and a new opening cut in. But if you imagine, at the moment we're looking at the back of the fridge, so the fridge will be facing straight into the kitchen, get a much better kind of working triangle in the kitchen that way. Just to give you a bit of an idea for scale, that bit of wood out there is where the extension will end, so that'll be like the back of the kitchen over there. You'll come down here, corridor, plant room, downstairs toilet, fridge will all be kind of boxed away over there, and then you'll have this kind of quite a nice wide corridor taking you straight through into the kitchen. So yeah, that's kind of it for today. There's a lot of other stuff been happening in the garden, as I say, a lot of garden clearance stuff, but the weather's just so awful that I can't really get out there with the camera at the minute. But yeah, a lot of garden clearance stuff has been happening. A lot of stuff around the front of the property as well. Just really, we're in that planning phase at the moment. We're still getting architect stuff sorted out, but there's still a huge amount to do inside the property before building work starts. My main aim really is to get everything ready so that it's kind of a blank canvas ready for the builders to come in, and then I'm not going to be tripping over the builders getting stuff done while they're getting on with their bit. Plenty to show you in the meantime though, so if you've got any questions, any comments, please pop them down below. I generally reply to comments on the day that the video was released and the day after. So if you have posted a comment 2 or 3 days after a video has gone live, then I'm not ignoring you. It's just I get thousands of comments on all of my videos, and it just turns into a bit of a full-time job replying to every single comment. But I do make a sustained effort to reply to all comments for the first 1 to 2 days after a video has gone out there. So please keep commenting. Your comments are absolutely awesome. For now though, rain stops play outside. The holes that I'm digging are filling up with water faster than I can dig the water out, so we need to wait on the rain to calm down a bit. I think the next job I need to do is to clear the kitchen out and get the kitchen shifted, because that's kind of quite a high priority job. So with any luck, this will be the last time you'll see this kitchen, and next time hopefully a lot of this will be moved into the dining room. We shall see. Famous last words. Anyway, I'll leave it at that for today. Take care, folks. I shall see you next time. Ta-ti, bye.